Okay, we are live. This is Aaron, and I've got Peter here with me as a cohort for this companion uh, co-host as we kind of go through this how do you Warmaster with Roll20. Peter's one of my wargaming buddies here in California, and we've been using Roll20 quite a bit for role-playing games in general. But now we're starting to think about how can we bring our miniatures hobby to the virtual tabletop, especially as everybody's stuck at home and not doing too much.
Yeah, yeah.
Peter, I'll let you
And I think
introduce yourself.
I'm Peter, and yeah, I've been gaming with you for about as long as I've been playing miniatures games.
Gosh,
Um,
about that long, yeah.
and I think one of the key words you just said was our hobby, bring our miniatures to the our miniatures gaming to the computer, and several of us are kind of hung up on the fact that we like painting toys. So let's figure out how we can use them virtually. And I think you've come on a good solution so far.
Right, right. So I mean, that's one of the key things for you is how do I get to use the miniatures I've painted in a virtual space, right? And we've been looking at
Exactly.
that for Kings of War. We've been looking at that for Warmaster. We've been thinking about other ways that we can bring this virtual tabletop to the um, into the cyberspace, I guess, right? And use our own toys, our own content.
Yeah,
So
you make more of our hobby virtual.
right, right, right. And I've been off work today. I just took a vacation day, um, mental health day, and and I've been messing around with this Roll20 module and shared something out to Facebook about Roll20 and here's something that you could use. And this is really just that kind of walkthrough for those folks that are on Facebook or other social platforms or other virtual platforms that want to check out how to build a Warmaster module um, in Roll20. So let's go ahead and jump over to Roll20 right now. This is a Roll20 space, uh, Roll20.net. It's a web application. It's a free application for the basic level of membership. There's paid membership as well. With those paid features, with those paid memberships, you get exposure to more features and whatnot. Um, Fully playable with the free version. And if you like Roll20 and you want to support them, I encourage you to do so. So what I'm doing now is I'm just signing into Roll20, and you'll see here, Peter, I'm afraid you can't see it because I'm not streaming my desktop to our Discord, but
That's
you
all right.
can, you're super familiar with this, right? In the Roll20 space, you have a number of games that you've already created. You can see here in my space that, yeah, there's a bunch of games. I've also created a game for Warmaster in general. But what we're going to show right now is how to create your own Warmaster game, because one of the limitations with the free membership is that you can't export or import game modules directly into the Roll20 space. You just need to you can create your own. And that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to create one now. We're going to call this the Warmaster Sandbox. And just create the game.
Is it a sandbox because your backdrop is in Egypt?
Right. It's a sandbox just because it's going to be an open play space. So anybody that wants to mess around with this sandbox, you can just ping me or message me or leave a comment in the YouTube comments, and I'll get in touch and I'll share you. I'll invite you to this sandbox, and you can. Okay, so we've created this. We've created a game. We've called it Warmaster Sandbox. We just need to launch that game, and it will load an environment, a virtual play space, which is essentially a tabletop, um, and a gridded tabletop. You'll see here too, I'm outputting by default some video and audio directly to the Roll20 space. Roll20 has built-in VoIP. You can use that VoIP if it's interesting to you. We don't find it to be very stable because we're not all on hardwired broadband connections. Many of us are on Wi-Fi, and the VoIP for this web app just seems to be a little bit limited. So the first thing that you'll want to do here in the Roll20 game that you create for yourself is turn that off. So you just need to go up here to settings, scroll down to chat tech and say none. And that'll shut everything, that'll disable all the integrated VoIP um, and video streaming. Next thing you want to do is go here again to settings and turn on use advanced keyboard shortcuts, disable the background chat beep, enable advanced dice, enable 3D dice, automatically roll 3D dice, turn off chat avatars because I don't like them. And then for chat avatars, I like names only. You can use whatever you like. And you can change your name here, your display name. Maybe I'm going to be I'll be Tomb Kings. Tomb King. I'll be the Tomb King. Oops. And then that changes my avatar name, my display name in the game. So let's get Peter invited to this space.
Yes.
So what we've done, we've turned off the VoIP, we've set some basic settings, and we've changed our avatar names. So let's get Peter invited here. I'm just going to jump up here to the settings and exit game. I'm going to go back to the game page itself. So here we see who it was created by, but I don't have any players. So let's invite some players. And just going to pause. Okay, we're back. I just realized I could just copy and paste this link to Peter in the Discord that we're using.
Excellent.
I'm just putting in the general chat, Peter.
I see it.
Yeah, so I've just shared this link out with my buddy, and he'll be able to join. And when I see you join here, Peter, I'm going to promote you to a game master just so you have the same privileges. So now you can see Peter's accepted the invite, and I can promote them to a GM. That means they have all access and privileges. You don't really need to be a GM to play or participate in a Roll20 module. Just gives you a little more control. And I'm just doing this for example's sake, right? I could also, maybe I got guys in the game that I don't want to have there anymore. I can kick them from the game, whatever. So we're back in the game. Peter's a GM.
I see a big grid.
Right. So that's the basic environment. Peter, maybe you want to go and grab like a texture or something like that we're going to use for our battlefield while I talk about a few of the other things that are going on here in Roll20. So over
Where are
here,
those?
just out on the internet somewhere, just search for like green field texture or something like that, and then we're going to upload that to the game. And if you don't, if that doesn't make sense, I'll sort it. In any case,
Oh, no, it makes sense.
there's some tools over here. There's a selection tool. There's some graphic tools. These are really about the layers. There are three basic layers in a Roll20 module: the map layer, the object and token layer, and the GM layer. GM only sees the GM layer. Objects and tokens layer is kind of that midpoint between where you'll be putting your units. The map layer can be a fixed layer that objects and tokens won't disturb. You can move things between layers. There's some drawing tools. There's magnification, also a slider over here, a ruler, which is key for our game, and and we need to set up the table to use the right dimensions. There's a fog of war tool, a die roller tool. We're going to take advantage of some macros in our game. So we need to set this table, we need to set this gridded table to something that's consistent with a Warmaster design, something that's consistent with a metric unit of measure, something that's consistent with the graphics that have already been created for this table. I'm going to rely on what I've already done here in my Warmaster game, and just going to be a copy and paste really. And I'm also going to publish an article around this so that others can kind of do this sort of offline or take their own learnings uh, from this design. So I need to go up here, choose my page settings. I can create as many of these pages as I want. These can all be different or unique maps. Whatever one this bookmark is on is the one that the players see. So I'm just going to go in here to settings, and I'm going to change my width to 37 and 25. And I'm going to change my page scale to metric. And I'm going to disable my grid because it's not necessary. And 70 pixels is equal to 5 centimeters. That's how I've set this table up, so that if we had a representative grid, 37 by 25 would be
Where do you want this picture? It's just plowed fields.
cool. So what you can do, Peter, is, let me just save these changes. That's everything I need to do. So because you're a game master here, Peter, what I want you to do is go to the art library. This is
Yep.
where all of your stored assets are going to be. And I want you to click upload image. And then I just want you to drag and drop that plowed field image into
All right. Art assets are, I don't seem to have a library. I have 5 things at the top.
The
At
art
the
library
chat?
should be the second button.
Yeah, there's nothing under the second button.
Oh, okay,
And there's
interesting.
jukebox, there's macros, and there's settings.
Might be something because I created the game and maybe I only have access to those art assets. So why don't you why don't you drag and drop that or upload that to the Discord, and I'll just grab that art asset out of the Discord.
See if that'll want to work.
So okay, great. Oh, nice. Okay.
Not a lot of distraction for a tutorial, I figure.
Sure.
And I left the photographer's name in the file
Okay,
title.
cool, cool.
I want to make sure people get
Yeah, that's always, I
credit
think
where
that's
credit's
always
due.
the right thing to do. I don't want to save. I want to open the original.
Yeah.
And I'm going to save this. No, not share. Ben Spella. Nice. I'm just going to save this into my desktop. I'll save it into my downloads. It's probably a better space. All right, so I've got some art here. I'm going to choose a file to upload from, and I'll choose that same file. I'll just upload it. I could drag and drop it, and it will load into my art library here. And I can just drag that right onto the tabletop. And you can see on the tabletop that it's actually fairly small. I just need to resize that. Oops.
Oh, yeah. Good thing I saved it large.
So here we are kind of resizing this image to get it to fit our tabletop. There may be other ways to do this, other ways that make sense to you as a user, make sense to you as a graphic artist or what have you. But now we have some plowed fields. We have a basic sort of pretty map to use with our Warmaster game.
Yeah, I think the next stage for me is to photographs of my train as well as my army. I only
Right.
have one army to photograph, so I'm fortunate there.
Your dwarves, right?
Heck yeah.
All
Love
right.
those little guys.
So this is a slightly different, this is a slight, Peter likes this 3/4 perspective. I like a top-down perspective, and this is a little more like a 3/4 perspective of the plowed fields, but I think it's perfectly usable. So now
It was my quick grab.
yeah, that's awesome. Now we've got a map created. We've got a ruler. Um, One thing I want to do is I want to move this down to the map layer. So right now that map is on the token layer. I'm just going to move it to the map layer. And now while I'm on this token layer, I can't grab it, I can't disturb it, I can't bump it, I can't move it. So I've got a ruler that's consistent with the dimensions. We're roughly like 185 by 120 centimeters. 6 by 4 foot table. So let's get some units on here. Now what we need to do is go over here to the journal button. You see it's pretty much empty here. I'm going to add a character. And this character is going to be my basic template. And I want this to be in everybody's journal, and I want it to be controlled by all players. That means everybody can make use of it, players or GMs. Now, if you were a GM and you wanted to control who has access to it, or maybe you only wanted to have access to it, you can change this as appropriate, right? So we're just going to save that character. And we can organize these things, these characters, into folders. We can rename these folders. I'm going to call this armies. And in the journal, you're probably seeing this stuff starting to show up, right, Peter?
I see basic template.
Yep, cool. And what army are you gonna push today, Peter, for this demo? I'm gonna do Tomb Kings. Which one do you want to do?
Oh, I think I'll do your empire because they're so pretty.
Okay, Tomb Kings.
I thought about dark elves because they're pretty, but I have no idea how to run dark elves.
Me either. Who knows how to? I don't know how to play any of this stuff. Oh, what happened here? Oh, I created a character. I don't want to do that. I want to create a
That
folder.
Hydra is just so fun.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? Such a nice model. I want to add a folder. Tomb Kings. And I want to add another folder for Empire. And these things can be when they have an expand and collapse button. When they're expanded, you can grab them and you can move them, nest them, organize them to your heart's content. It really fits my OCD, so I'm super into that. So now we've got a basic template for our characters. We'll talk about why that's important in a minute. Basic template for our tokens, and now we have some containers for our armies, whether it's Empire, Tomb Kings, what have you. Do you see the army folder yet, Peter, or is that still
No,
here
I
too?
just see basic template is all I see.
Okay, we'll get that part figured out. All right, now we need some units to push around on the table. So I'm going to edit this basic template and I'm going to duplicate it a few times. So I've just created a bunch of copies of this basic template. And why that's important is they carry the same privileges being shown in everybody's journal and controllable by everyone. And we're going to use, so let's see, let's give you some halberdiers, Peter, and some
Perfect.
crossbowmen and a hero.
I
So,
like it already.
so what,
So I need
because my
open
art,
basic template.
yeah, go ahead and open that basic template and check it out.
It is open.
Because I've already uploaded a bunch of these assets to my library, you can see them here. um, what I'm going to do is just show you quickly how you would get those into Roll20, much like what we did for the map, right? So we just choose upload, we'd go and we'd choose a file, we'd browse to a location on our PC, we'd choose one or more of those files. So here I've got the Empire, I've got all these top-down images. You would just drag and drop these in and then they would get uploaded into your art library and then you can create tokens out of them. But because we already have a few of those, we're going to give Peter some halberdiers. One, I want a standard bearer, why not? And then, oh, he said crossbow, right?
Yeah.
And some crossbowmen and a hero. So now I've got all these assets, but they're really big, right? When they get dropped onto the table, they're like 18 centimeters big. That's much too big for our purposes. So we need a frame of reference. And that frame, I've also created that frame of reference as part of the graphic files. And that's here in the Warmaster, and that'll be here in the available to you as part of the graphic package. But now you can see, oh, here's something that's a little more appropriate, something that's 4 centimeters, right? 4 centimeters by 2, 40 by 20. Now we can scale those units down to be a
Oh,
little more consistent with that. And you can probably do this too, Peter.
yeah, I think you need to give him permission.
Uh, sorry, I didn't create it from a character sheet. So that's the other thing, right? Is and that's what's key about this. So permissions are kind of a hassle and a nightmare in Roll20. And these graphic assets, when you first create them, may not have the appropriate permissions. So let's default them. So I'm going to default who can control this representative token, the 40 by 20, and I'm going to create a character sheet for it. So, and I'm going to create it and I'm going to associate it with this basic template. So I'm going to edit that basic template and you can see here, now it says that there's a default token that can be associated with this template. I'm going to select that 40 by 20 reference and I'm going to use that as the default token. And I'm going to save that. Now, what happens is every time I just drag this basic template onto the board, it creates as many instances as I drag here. You're probably seeing this now, Peter. And
I
you
am.
should be able to now touch, edit, and manipulate that 40 by 20. You can rotate it.
Yes.
You can do whatever you want with it, right?
Yes.
You can delete it by accident. Oh no, I can undo that. I should be able to undo that. Yeah, Roll20 has like one step of undoing it. So there's always that whoops problem. So while Peter's messing around with those basic templates, let's get these crossbowmen scaled up to something that's a little closer to 40 by 20. And there may be ways you may come up with other clever ways to do this on your own. Oh wait, my crossbowman's behind there. I need it to be in front. So I just put it to the front. Nope, it's the token, the template to the back. And now I can get a rough approximation of that 40 by 20. It's a little too big. That's a little better. Whoops. Good enough for today's effort. So there is one unit of one stand of crossbowmen. I need to give it, everybody can use it. And now I need to create a character sheet for it, much like I did for the basic template. So I'm just going to edit this.
I named one crossbows, if that helps.
Oh, did you? Perfect. Let's use that one. Oh, and you've named one halberds. Nice. Now, Peter doesn't seem to have full GM privileges, but so let's see, what am I doing? I'm using the selected token, and it's just going to load that in there. Now, you'll remember what I did for this token before I made it the default was I changed its controlled by permissions to all players. Then I associated that token with this character sheet that's also controlled by all players. And now, every time I just drag these out, I'm creating stands upon stands of crossbowmen, right? So, Peter, you got 2 units of crossbowmen. Why don't you go ahead and organize them as you like? I'll work
Oh,
on the
very nice. And you
halberdiers.
did that just by dragging out.
Yes, just by dragging from the journal, uh, click and drag the crossbowmen out onto the tabletop. All right, so let's get those halberdiers. I think we're just going to mess around with some halberdiers and crossbowmen.
I have a feeling I got somebody backwards. Better take a look.
Oh, they look good to me. All right, let's scale these halberdiers.
Look good. I always hate it when one of them's pointed the wrong way. It is a problem with 10 millimeter after all.
Right. Now you could do something clever like putting like a pointer on the front of your graphic image or something like that, so it's pretty clear about what's the front or the back. But this is all just illustrative about how to use the tool. So now I've got
Mm-hmm.
some crossbowmen or some halberdiers. They're roughly 40 by 20. I stretched them a little bit, so that's fine. Let's associate them with this character sheet. Oops, I need to change their permissions. Controlled by all players. Why is that important? Because so that when you drag that token out, it carries those same permissions. All right, getting close to being able to push some troops. Okay, so now we're going to have 2 units of crossbow and 2 units of halberds. But wait, where is my standard bearer? I need a character sheet for that standard bearer for that unique token. I'm just going to duplicate this.
Go Halberd Command.
Sure. Copy of halberds. Let's rename that. Halberds command. All right. Let's get rid of that token. Yeah, we don't want that one. We want.
No, we don't want that.
What's nice about Roll20 is you can collapse these character sheets into just like a ghosted image. Double click the top margin.
Yeah, I'm really fond of the 3D dice.
Yeah, we'll demo that in just a minute.
But my current favorite thing is using your miniatures right now to play this game.
There we go. There's a nice halberdier standard. So let's get him resized. Oh wait, I can't grab the thing. Those bubbles are in the way. There we go. Zoom in.
Let me check some settings here. Yeah, names only on the avatars is better because then you see more of your battlefield.
Yeah. All right. Now I've got an equivalent halberdier token. It's got everybody's permissions. And we need to associate that with the halberds command.
Yes, we do.
I'm just going to duplicate this hero. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball this one. Because it's just a hero base. It's not as important to be on the 40 by 20, but we're close enough, right? So we've got, look at that. 4 units, 2 units of halberdiers, 2 units of crossbows, and a hero. So
Well,
how do we
he's a
maneuver these
commander. We'll
things?
see if he's a hero. We
All
don't know
right,
if
we'll
he's a
see
hero
if we
yet.
can. So what I'd like to do is in this, let's see how big this space is that we're working in. In this 26, when this 26 centimeter space, Peter, what I'd like to do is just for us both to set up those 2 units, one halberdier and one crossbow, and we'll just have a quick little skirmish and we'll see how this works. So let me, oopsie daisy. Now, how do I keep the ruler on the table? I hold the shift key and I drag out the ruler,
Drag out the ruler, click shift.
and then or hold shift while I'm dragging the ruler. Either will work. Then
Right,
go
and then
my selection tool. Now I can click stuff and do stuff with the other things without disturbing that ruler. So we'll talk about why that's
correct.
important in a minute. So I'm going to set up my crossbowmen in line here. And then I'll put my halberdiers here.
I have no permission to touch the commander, but then
I'll fix that.
yeah.
And I'm going to
Wait.
duplicate him. I'm just going to copy and paste him right onto the tabletop. Look, now I've got 2 of them. So you could just copy and paste these things, like maybe, um, instead of dragging them out onto the table, you just copy and paste them once you've got them in place. Or maybe you copy and paste your brigades once you've got them in place. Maybe you're playing 5,000 point game, you madman.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the virtual battlefield, though, is you set up a 5,000 point game and then clean it up in no time at all. And the nice thing is, once you've created your character sheet, so to speak, of in this case crossbows, halberds, and commanders, excuse me, halberd commands. Once you've saved them, then they're there and they're always connected to that art file, right?
Right, exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
So it's
so
like that
yes,
becomes your miniatures collection.
right, exactly. So once you have this set up, you can just come in and play a game with these assets. So that's what we're going to do a little later on this afternoon, I think.
Oh, you want to go side to side?
Hey, sweetheart, I'll be right back with you, Peter. Go ahead and keep everybody entertained.
Oh, that's easy. So you haven't told me which direction we're going. All right. Well, let's just see how this works out. Yes, I think we're going top to bottom. That would be my guess, not side to side. All right.
All right, I'm back. That was just the wife coming in to see what I was up to.
Keeping out of trouble, probably. No, we're going top to bottom, right? We're not going side to side.
Yeah, top to bottom, north to south. So here I'm kind of zooming out a little bit, and this would be fully zoomed out. That's a little
We,
too far. Let's get a little
we have
bit
an
more.
extra army here. I think I
Yeah, an
can
extra
do reset.
brigade. I just dropped it in there for illustrative purposes. Just go
An
ahead and
entire extra army.
just select it and delete it.
Put them back in the box.
Put them back in the box. Get back in the box. We don't need you. We don't want your kind.
We don't serve their kind. Here, you want me to put a ruler out?
Sure, that's fine.
How much space do you want from my frontage?
Oh, this is fine. So I just what I thought we'd do is just play like a turn or two, um, very kind of light to kind of demo how the maneuver works, how the measure works, all that stuff. So you could see here, we can select one stand and we can maneuver it, or we can select a group of stands and we can wheel that whole group. Now, let's talk about some of the more complex maneuvers that might be happening. So let's get some dice, Peter. I'm
All
going to
right.
create a quick macro to roll 2d6 dice /R 2d6. And I'm just going to save that bad boy. And then I'm going to put it in my bar. Now it's a button in my bar, but hang on a second. Maybe I want to share this macro with other players.
Because I don't know how to write them.
Yeah, I was trying to teach you. Someday you'll learn.
I'll
All right,
get there. I'll get there. I'll watch this video when you're done with it.
right. Um, so now you've got that macro, Peter, and you can put it in your bar too. All right, so you're a 9. I'm a 5, so you're first. So you can go ahead and take the first turn. Um, let's
All
just
right.
go ahead and rather than doing brigade orders and let's do like one turn of maneuver, and then the next turn we'll close to combat and we'll fight around to combat.
Sure. Um, do we need to have stats out so we know what we're doing? Or it's always 20 for infantry and or
Uh,
10 for.
yeah, infantry are always 20 for movement. We'll call our commanders. They've got a command rating of 8. So what I could do is I could just put this 8 in there. Oh, and I know he's got a modifier of +1 in combat. And I know he's got a command radius of 60. So now I can just click on this unit and see, oh yeah. So that's another thing you can do when you're creating your default tokens is you can associate their characteristics or other details with them before you add them as the default token for the character sheet. So it looks like you want to give an order, eh? So go ahead and
Yes, I
give
do.
did you pass your order? Did you roll any
Going to do that
dice?
right now.
Yeah. Oh no, you're
Oh,
blown.
no.
All right, so we're going to try to
No.
steal the march on your flank here.
They are not listening. They are not listening at all.
So another thing you can do with Roll20 is you can click and hold. That'll put a ping. So I'm going to give an order to these crossbowmen. Um,
Why did I roll a d12?
I don't know. Why did you roll a d12?
I must have bumped it or something.
All right.
Actually, my order was to hold position.
Hold position. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to give an order to the crossbowmen. 2d6 looking for an 8. Oh no, I'm blown too. So now it's over. Now it's on to fighting. We won't do any initiative charges just for simplicity's sake, in terms of showing some maneuver and how you contact. So you're up.
It's good to show people this is how you fail your roll.
This is how you play Warmaster. You just fail command after command after command. All right, so what do you want to do?
Well, we're done with movement. That means I got to try to shoot you.
Oh no, that we're
Or are we in turn 2?
we're in turn 2. Oh, I guess I could sure. I guess we could go back and we kind of playing out of order here.
That's fine.
It's
Let's try this again.
orders, hero movement, no, orders, hero movement, shooting, melee. So why don't I shoot you? So I've got, everybody looks like they're in range, 30 centimeter range. So I've got 3 shots against you. So I can do roll/R 3d6 in the chat. It'll roll 3d6. Looking for 4s. I got
Ooh,
3 hits.
3 hits.
We need another asset on the table. We need a hit asset, bonk. Oops.
That's ominous.
Fearful. I'm going to give this to everybody. No saves for your crossbowmen, so they're just going to
No.
take a stand and be driven back.
Yep.
They're going to be driven back 3d6. Let's see. So I can repeat that same roll by just pushing the up key. Oh my God, driven back 18 centimeters. So from the closest point, so they're going to be driven back from here, Peter, along that line, 18 centimeters. Oops, I forgot to hold the shift key. 18 centimeters from here, kind of along that that angle. Yep, yep, exactly. Exactly.
They've had better days.
They've had better days.
This is why they should have listened to the commander and moved the first turn.
In these war games, you are, oops, lost my ruler again. Shift key. Let's leave that ruler out there. Now, what do you want to do with your halberdiers? You want them to go with them or get out of the way?
If they get out of the way, are they disordered?
They have to check. In either case, they have to check. They roll a
They'll
d6.
get out of the way.
All right, sure. So they'd only need to roll 1d6 and if they roll a 6, then they're confused. 2d6 adds up to 6, but you passed in the first instance. So get rid of these hit tokens. Save them for
Now, I
later.
just deleted the stand, but it's a good idea to set them off to one side, just like when you play with miniatures, because you want to count your units for
Right,
Warmaster,
for
your
breakpoints and
break. Yeah,
whatnot. Yeah.
yeah.
So which way are those halberdiers going, left or right, to get out of the way? At least two of them need to move. Two of
Well,
them
they're going to
could
go
move.
right.
Yeah, two of them could move off to the right. Then you have a new line kind of
And
running
just
out
take all
this
three
way.
of them off the right. Just get them all to the right.
Sure. Yeah, just move them the other side of the general.
Just stop that.
All right, there's no melee on my turn, and now it's your turn.
Yeah, well,
Starting at the top, you've got an initiative charge if you want it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that rather than blow another order roll on them, so they can charge right into your crossbows.
Right, if they're within 20, they are. They can initiative charge here. Not more than half of them are in the flank, so it's a charge to the front. Yeah, and then, yep, and then I would slide them over one stand. Yep.
That
Yeah, I think that's about what the battle line would look like because this guy would charge first. He would charge the center of his enemy, and then the others would form the battle line, and that's enough. So I get to shoot into the charge. Here's
you've done
3d6
enough
up to
shooting for one day.
2 hits at chew. You get a save. I
Okay.
think you save on 6+. Ooh, saved one, so you're going to carry one into that fight. And what are you doing with these guys?
Well, I'm gonna try to give them orders to come on up and help out.
Okay, cool. First order's a pass. So
They're listening this time
they
because
get 20 centimeters.
see, I said if you don't listen,
You're
you
going to
can
get
see what happened to
deleted.
your friends. They didn't listen. Didn't listen, and now they're dead. You like that? That make you feel tough, huh? Huh? Mr. Smart Aleck. All right.
You want to give them another order?
I'm gonna move this here though to
Sure.
differentiate. Yes. I need to make a new ruler, don't I? Yes. We're now, what's my command? You said an 8?
Your command is
Or am I a 9?
I think hero's an 8, so now you're a 7 on the second order.
Correct.
You're a
Okay.
6 because you're within 20, but for the enemy within 20. So you're 6. Go ahead and make it. Yep, you made it. Woohoo!
Yeah. Okay.
So what I
Well,
like to do is measure from the furthest corner
oops.
of the furthest stand. That corner would get to there for 16, so you should be able to get to there no problem. If you want to form a new battle line.
Well, it's either that or support the first one, but I think a new one with one
More
with a
fighting, yeah, more
yeah, I
fighting.
think this is a little better, even though they're crossbowmen. So are you, and your commander will bounce back.
Oh yeah,
And you
he'll
know what?
bounce. Oh wait, did you contact him or not? I don't remember.
Yes.
Okay, so he'll join the unit because he has to.
So just to keep things neat, I will do the same.
Right, for your on your hero's move, sure. All right.
Hold on here. He's turned around. What the bloody hell? All
I'm
right.
having a hard time finding the anchor to grab.
Well, no. What was happening was they kept changing the size of the. There we go. The battlefield. It shrank to nothing. So I must have bumped something. Track pads, you know.
Mm. Yeah, you're
So
playing on a
that,
laptop. My hat is off to you. That's a tough ask.
I think I might as well add the one die of the leader in because that's just how we roll.
Yeah, now this guy might be able to shoot into the charge, but I think I'm saying he's fighting here, so he's not going to shoot into the charge.
Can you shoot into more than one charge?
I think so. I don't know. I'd have to look, but I don't want to look. So
But I think because I am technically in combat with you diagonally, I think you're right. That would.
yeah, that seems to make sense. If this guy wasn't engaged, then yeah, maybe he could shoot, but we'll just say he's all right. So now we've got a fight. You've got three. Oh, these guys all charged, so they get +1 attack each. One, two, three, four, five. It looks like it's 20 dice for you out.
Wow.
Looking for fours. And for me, it's going to be 3, 6, 9 dice out.
Yeah, but you shot at me. I'm
I
very
shot
upset about
at
it.
you. Yeah, I did shoot at you.
So 20 dice. Oh, not D20. So that wouldn't help. It'd help me considerably, but D6s. There we go.
All right. So let's see. One, two,
1, 2,
three, four,
4,
five, six,
6,
seven.
7,
Seven?
8. I count 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I see
6,
8 too. Yeah.
7, 8. Yep.
Yeah. So
8 is good.
I've written some macros that kind of simplify this. I'll give you mine back. Here's 9 back at you.
Well, that's right. You have the attack defend macros on usually set up.
Right. One, two, three, four. So I did 4 to you. You did 8 to me. I don't have any
Yes.
saves. Uh, everything. I'm going to say everything's fighting your halberdiers because I've already given you one
For
hit.
simplicity.
Yeah. Ooh, you saved 1. So you pick up 3. So just copy 3 of
Yeah.
those hit tokens. And you did 8 to me? Ugh.
What is the command token? I mean the copy command.
Uh, Control C, or in your case, Apple key C.
Well, I just yeah, it's not letting me
I'll
even
help.
paste. The hell. Thank you. I'm carrying 4 now.
All right, so
How many are you carrying?
8
Ooh.
and no saves. So I just made one big one and gave it a number of 8, and it's one of the bubbles, so I know.
There you
So
go.
combat resolution, I've got support. So I did 4, 5, 6, 7. My combat resolution 7. Yours is 8. Oh, you win by 1, so you push me back. Push me back half a base. So let's select all of these guys. I'm going to shift click, select all of these guys. I'm just going to move them back half a base width or thereabouts. Half a base depth, pardon me. And then I'm going to remove my casualties, just deleting them for simplicity. And then you lose a stand and carry a hit. And this is carrying 2, I
2
think.
hits. Yeah.
Delete that.
I think it would be in our best interest.
You're going to pursue, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's do this. And I'm going to turn these upside down so I know that those are from the first round of combat.
Oh, yeah. And I
Yeah,
forget, do I need to move my last stand up to offer support or
yeah, because
because
he's
it's not
part
in
of this.
combat?
He's part of the same unit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh wait, but he's not in combat with anybody.
Right. So
So he has 20 centimeters of movement to get to combat, or he could just stay in line with his friend and
I think we'll stay in line and offer
offer
support.
support. You know,
You go, guys.
get him.
They shot at us.
All right, next round of combat, you get the pursuit bonus. So it's still 4 dice for your stand, so it's 12 versus 3. Here's my measly 3. Why does this always happen to me? I did nothing.
Well, we're just so angry.
You did lots.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I count 7.
Yep. So that's it. That's Warmaster on Roll20. That's kind of the quick and dirty. That's maybe not too
And
quick. We spent a lot of time
as a
talking
note
about this.
to as a note to folks watching, we have found that you need to look at the dice rolls in the chat bar because the 3D dice, as beautiful as they are and as much as I love them,
Hmm.
they're not always visually accurate,
Right.
especially
You get
when
some of these like cock die results and stuff like that. And
right
that's where,
when bandwidth is tight. Then we also find that some of the die rolls will look like, oh, I rolled a 5. No, the chat says you rolled a 2. I'm like, what? We found that a few times. So
right, right.
we always defer to the chat window.
Um, so there you have it. That's the primer on how to, if anybody wants access to this sandbox so they can mess around with these tools or invite some of their friends to mess around, play with some of these resources that we've created in this game session, just message me on Facebook, message me on, leave a comment in the YouTube, something like that. We'll figure out how to get in touch, and I will then invite you to this specific Roll20 game, and you too can monkey around with it and see what works or doesn't work. All right, I think that's everything we have.
All right. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for joining, Peter.
Always fun.